and maybe introduce yourself to our readers and listeners.
Okay, well, I'm Christy, as Brenda said, and I am living in the Midwest out here where the land is flat, and um, we are here ministering to a body of Christ Church. My husband's a pastor of a little gathering of people out here of a church that he began about 2 years ago. So that's what we're doing out here. And we have 3 little people. We have an 11-year-old daughter named Emily. We have a 6-year-old daughter named Grace. And we have 3-year-old Samuel, who's our one boy, unless you count Coco, our pug, which, he does count.
Yes, he does. Okay. Tell me a little bit about how you were called to write.
I just, during the time when my little guy was in diapers, I had a desire renewed in me for writing. I've always had an interest or I'd say a love in some way for it over the years, but never had a lot of time to invest in doing it or inclination. And as I was just doing all the things that moms do for little ones, I started to see God's love and care for us in that, and God was just making himself very real to me through those real life illustrations. So I felt like I had to write this stuff down because other people had to know about it. And so if there is such thing as a call and something like that, I just felt like there was a desire in me, and God led me to share him through writing words.
Awesome. So you and I met. Can you tell the listeners how we met and how you got started with Ask God Today?
Well, we met because, just because my husband's a pastor does not mean I do not have problems. And I was struggling with something in my life, and I needed the voice of wisdom. And Brenda had befriended me on Twitter, and I had only a handful of friends, and so I saw her tweets quite often. And there was a day that she just said, I'm here if you want to talk. And I just thought, maybe I do want to talk to somebody. And I had been watching her for a while, and I had creeped on her, and I felt like I could go to her and just, have a friend in her in Christ. And so I connected with her, and she responded, and she said, yeah, let's talk. And we've been talking ever since. And then she invited me to do a post, and then eventually invited me to be a part of her team. And what I love about it is it began with her having a heart of ministry toward me. So, and that's what Ask God Today is all about.
And it's been awesome. Our friendship has just really bloomed, and I love you to death. We've gotten to meet face to face, and so yeah, that's been really cool. So Twitter is a good thing. It doesn't always have to be a negative. Some people are afraid of it and that sort of thing. But you can meet people like, I can meet you, and you can meet me, and it's a good thing. So, okay, tell me a little bit about your, briefly your testimony of how you found Christ or how he found you.
Well, he definitely found me because I probably wasn't looking. I had an awareness of God as I was brought up, and was taught some things in the Catholic faith. And I didn't know a lot about Jesus, though, and the relationship that he had to offer. And so I met my now husband, Jimmy, and I'm the one who was concerned whether or not he believed in God because, that's important stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I asked him about it, and the conversation grew, and he invited me to church. And, he knew that I wasn't a believer, but he was. And he took the risk because, you don't want to get involved with someone and become unequally yoked. You want to have the same like-mindedness and faith when you join yourself to someone. And he went ahead and put himself out there, and he said, okay, in the back of his mind, he said 3 dates. And if she doesn't come to Christ by then I'm going to have to, move on. And so I didn't know this. And the very first time he took me to church, it was a Easter Sunday cantata, and it wrecked me. And I just knew that I needed Jesus, and I knew that I didn't know him. And so I was started asking questions, and my now husband at that time was a friend that I was kind of dating. He led me to Christ, and the story goes on from there. I'm going to post a link down below that will have the full testimony if you're curious. So I'll go ahead and do that later on.
Okay, that's awesome. So God just put y'all together, and I love the story about how he said, okay, 3 times. So he saw something really cute in you that he wanted to get to know a little bit better. And, you know, but he was a wise guy, because he knew that he could not be unequally yoked with someone, that it just would not work. And so that's amazing. Great story. So tell me, what is one thing that people would find a little unusual about you that maybe they just don't know about you?
Well, besides the fact that I might be a little unusual, just because that's maybe who I am. One thing that people seem to be shocked by when I let them know is I enjoy shooting stuff. I don't like shooting living things, okay, but I love target practice. And one of the best times I've ever had with a gun was when a friend of ours had the skeet shoot set up. And we went out there, and I fired off some rounds, and I hit some of those clay discs, and that was just awesome. So I really enjoy that. But another thing that people find very shocking is, and it's a funny story, is I've been hit by a car. My husband, I can hear him in the background saying, it was just in the parking lot. And it was only in the parking lot, but it was in like the holiday season time, you know, and parking lots get full of people. And I was going to cross the street to go into the parking lot to get to my car after I had done some shopping. And I looked both ways. And when I turned and started out into the street, all of a sudden I heard this car coming. And all of a sudden I turned to look, I'm on the hood. And I was like, I didn't even know. I was like, how does this even happen? What am I doing? And there was an undercover cop, oddly enough, watching in the eaves. He saw the whole thing, and he said, are you okay? Are you okay? I saw the whole thing. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm okay. And he says, well, I think you should get checked out. I'm like, I don't think I'm hurt. I'm just shocked that I was hit by a car. So anyway.
Wow, what a story. You need to write a post on that one. Yep, how God saved you that day. So do you have a favorite place that you can pray, or that you pray?
Oh, like I said earlier, girl, I do not have time to find a place. I just pray right where I am, sometimes out loud. And the kids, I'm surprised they're not going around saying, oh, Lord, help me, because I say that so much. It is true. I need his help all the time, and I have to find my closet in the quiet corners of my mind with everything going on around me sometimes. So anywhere, but obviously, you know, when I can steal a few moments of quiet and some secluded room is also a nice time to lift things up to the Lord. But anytime, anywhere, the lines are open.
I gotcha. I understand. Well, what would you think one of the most spiritual challenges are in your life?
Oh, it's definitely being a mother, you know, and a wife. It's being a human, pretty much. You know, I always think to myself, if I was just by myself all the time, I could probably be a much more loving, kinder, and just a better Christian. But isn't that just defeating the whole purpose of what being a Christian is? In order for our beliefs and our faith to flourish and show the beauty of who Christ truly is, we have to be submerged in the ugliness that this world has to bring. And I'm part of that. I am some of the ugliness that this world has to bring, because it's in us as we are sinful people.
But greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. So.
Right. So that's what makes a difference.
Yes, it is. So do you have a favorite verse or a life verse?
You know, I don't really have a life verse, but not necessarily, but I have a verse or 2 or 5. I mean, do I have to pick just one, that I live by, and I love Job 23:12. It says, I have not departed from the commandment of his lips. I have treasured the words of his mouth more than my portion of food. And I love food, but to love food is, human, but to love God is divine. It's something that God gives to us, and he puts his spirit within us. And I just, I think about how we get to know him through his word. And, that's why I can't pick just one. I have to have it all. Mm-hmm. So.
Amen. Okay. Well, is there anything else you'd like to tell, the Ask God Today readers or anybody that actually sees this video?
I didn't hear what you said.
That's fine. Is there anything else that you would like to tell the Ask God Today readers or anyone that actually watches this video?
Well, I have a passion for the gospel built in me, and part of it is just knowing the God who saved me. This passage just keeps coming back to me ever since God revealed it to me before I went to a conference a couple of months back, and it ignites such an excitement and a passion in me. And I just want to read a little bit of it to you. It's the prophet of Ezekiel, and when he has a vision, and he says, well, let's just read. It says, the hand of the Lord was upon me, and he brought me out in the spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the valley, and it was full of dry bones. He led me around among them, and behold, there were very many on the surface of the valley, and they were very dry. And he said to me, Son of man, can these bones live? That phrase, it gets me every time. Like right now, it's got a hold of me in my spirit. Can these bones live? They are all around us at all times, and death is surrounding us because there are so many people who don't know the Lord, and especially in times like these, you look around and you don't have to look any further than the news headlines to know that Christ is a need in our nation and in our people. And so I see that, and I think of the fact that God set Ezekiel up as a watchman, and us, if we have the gospel of Christ, if we know what Jesus has done through the power of his Son, or through himself, God has done it, then we have the power to make dry bones live, because God's going to do it in and through us. He's going to do it. And he doesn't have to have us, but he likes to let us be a part of his plans. And I just love that God is at work, even in these times that seem bleak. So take heart, like you said earlier, he overcomes the world, and we know how the story ends. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, great, Christy. It's so nice to hear your heart. And I know that our readers and our listeners and everybody is going to just be excited to also hear just your heart and how you love the Lord. And so thank you for being a part of Ask God Today. And the future is ahead of us, and we're just excited to see where God's going to take us. And so I just want to encourage you all to continue to move forward with Christ, and we love you, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Good to see you. Bye.